Hello friends, I'm Dr. Ravi Kaushik, your companion and your guide for the preparation of physiology for this PG entrance exams. So in this talk, I'll be discussing about my own academic journey, how to prepare for physiology, how physiology is important in PG entrance exams, and overall how physiology will be able to help you in memorization and in better preparation for your exams. I started my journey from MBBS graduate from University College of Medical Sciences, UCMS. In my first attempt, I took up the subject of physiology from UCMS again. Just after completion of my PG, I went into industry, into clinical research industry. I developed interest in clinical research and thereafter I entered into the clinical research. Did quite a lot of clinical trials, did quite a lot of medical writing in India, in US, and in Africa. Thereafter, this, in Hindi we call it Kida of teaching that continued. And as a matter of fact, I have been teaching the undergraduates and students for PG entrance exams since 2011, nearly a decade now. So because of that Kida, I came back to the government setup. I did my SRship and then I got the rank of All India rank of 1 in ICMR Talent Search Scheme TSS1 and joined ICMR as a scientist, as a clinical scientist. Soon thereafter, in UPSC, I got All India rank 3 and finally joined as assistant professor of physiology in the reputed Maulana Azad Medical College. So right now I'm working as a faculty in Maulana Azad Medical College teaching physiology. As I told you, I have been teaching for the PG entrance exams since nearly a decade now. So this is my short journey. So as a matter of fact, I come with an experience indeed most varied, which hardly you will find. I have an experience of the hardcore academics. I have experience of clinics also. I have experience of the industry. I have experience of clinical research. And I also appeared and got through certain MBA colleges also, including XLRI and TIS. So this is my brief journey. And how did it help me? It definitely helped me. These pursuits, these different experiences made me a little better human being. And definitely the contact with the students since last more than a decade now, it has helped me to grow as a human being. Now, coming to the second part of our talk, how is physiology important and why and what is the importance of physiology in PG entrance exams? In most of the exams, nearly 15 to 17 questions or 15 to 20 questions do come directly from the physiology. You can argue that 15 to 17 is not a very, very high number. But the more important thing here is, and more important to jot it down is, that physiology forms the basis of medicine. If you are weak in physiology, you'll not be able to understand your pathology, you'll not be able to understand your pharmacology, you'll not be able to understand your medicine for that matter, okay, internal medicine. So you need to have a good grasp over physiology to actually understand all these topics. And in your PG entrance exams also, if I take into account the applied physiology or the clinical physiology, so nearly 15 to 20 more questions can easily be solved by the applied physiology questions. So going by that statistics, we have more than 30 questions directly coming from physiology and applied physiology, which I assure that I'll be taking care of here. Okay. Now, this is about how physiology is important as far as the NEET or the INI entrance exams or the FMG exam is concerned. Now, more important is how physiology has given for the overall guidance for preparation. So, I'm basically referring to the learning and memory here. And why I'm talking about learning and memory? Simply because it's all the game of learning and memory. Okay, how much you memorize, how much you learn is what you know is what determines your rank here. So, as far as the preparation for the NEET entrance exam or the INI entrance exam, AIMS PGI exam, or FMG exams are concerned, you need to have few points in your mind. They are important. One is, first and foremost, is your focus. If you focus on whatever you are doing at a particular point of time, it is going to be retained for a much longer amount of time in your head. Okay. Now you know that we all tend to forget, and it is in fact physiologically it's important to forget also, because if you will not forget, it will lead to many other problems. Long-term potentiation and forgetfulness, they are two things which are selectively done by your own brain, and this selection is basically decided by one major fact, and that fact is how important the knowledge is. So, if one thinks that a particular knowledge is important, it will definitely go into long term memory. And if something is considered by your own brain or yourself as less important topic or less important thing, you will not be able to retain it. Lately, one of the students asked me this simple question. It said, I'm not able to retain anything. I keep on reading. I usually read for 8 to 10 hours a day. And even the third day or fourth day, if you ask me something, I'll not be able to memorize or remember anything. I simply asked him, were you able to remember the last movie you seen? He replied in affirmation, yes, he remembered. It was indeed Dangal. The movie was Dangal. Okay. So then I asked him, what were the characters? He told me the characters. What was the story? He told me the story. He even told me few dialogues, which I never remembered. Okay. So I just told him that how is it possible that you remember the movie and not your subject? The simple answer lies with the fact which I was already discussing it with you. The importance if you give to a particular topic, it will be remembered by your brain. And if you don't give the importance to a topic, it will not be remembered. So, first and foremost is focus on a particular thing. Now, you must have listened to everyone that almost each of the motivational speakers they say the same thing, right? So, you must have heard this at least 100 number of times by now. How am I going to tell you the things and which are going to make a difference? That is important here. Okay, and how physiology is going to help. So, one is importance, second is revision. We all know that revision is one thing which improves the memorization, right? You know this, you have been doing this since at least 15-20 years now, right? So, more important thing here is the duration of revisions or the compartmentalization or the frequency of revisions at particular amount of time. That is very important. As per research, there is a curve known as forgetfulness curve. In that forgetfulness curve, what was seen is that we tend to forget anything approximately by 50% within 24 hours. So, for example, if I'm talking to you, I'm talking about any subject, physiology for that matter, I'm talking of action potential. If you're hearing it for the first time, you will hardly remember 50% of it after 24 hours. And subsequently, in 6 to 7 days, you'll hardly remember 10% of it. Okay. Now, how to improve upon it? Now, these timelines in the forgetfulness curve, 1 day, then 7 days, and then hardly like you will all not be able to remember more than 5% in 1 month. Okay. So, these timelines are important, and that is where your physiology is going to help you out. So, your first revision, everyone knows that you require revision for memorization. What I am adding on to it is you require your first revision ideally within 24 hours, so that that curve, which was the learning curve, which was there initially, which was dwindling, which was decreasing within 24 hours, that revision is going to actually handle it, and again your learning curve will improve. So, first revision within 24 hours. Second revision, ideally on second or third day. Okay. However, it has again been seen by researchers that if a second revision is done within 1 week, it usually suffices. Okay. So, 1 day, then 1 week, and then 1 month. Third revision should ideally be done within 2 weeks. However, again, research says that the differences are not very, very high. Even if you do the revision session of the same thing at 1 month. So, 1 day 1 week and 1 month. These 3 revisions are utmost importance. These timelines are very, very important. So this is how you should revise. Okay? So you should make a diary, and that diary will have entries of just the topics which you have read today. Okay? The same topics would be revised by you tomorrow. The same topic would be revised by you after a week, and the same topic would be revised by you after a month, and then just look for exam. Now, what to study? That again is very important. And we have a step ladder approach, okay? A stepwise approach in that. So first and foremost, you need to listen to, because you are all right now you're you're accustomed to reading or at least listening to the video lectures, right? So on these video lectures, please make sure that you make your own notes. The notes are also provided to you by us only. However, it is highly recommended that you make your own notes from the video lecture or your own notes from the standard books. That is the first step of the ladder. Second step is that you do your MCQs. Okay, so this is how to approach step by step. So first step is you listen to the videos, you make your notes. Second is you solve the MCQs. Third step is you give tests, and giving tests is extremely important. These steps are actually, first step cannot be, you cannot bypass any step in this. So the first step is you'll have to make your notes, or at least go through the notes very, very thoroughly. That is the first step and the foremost step. That is extremely important. You cannot bypass it. Second is you need to have the practice of MCQs. And third, if you are done with these two, then you should give your tests. You should attempt your MCQs in a proper test format. That is the third step. Then the fourth step is, once you are done with these 3 steps, you can be assured that you will be able to achieve an extremely good rank in your NEET, in top 1000 or 2000. If you want to go beyond that, if you want to have a rank within 100, top 100, one is definitely you need to have some component of luck in that. In addition to it, you can also go through some of the USMLE material, first step guide or the Cheerio lectures or something like that. However, herein you will not need it, okay? Because we are going to help you out by giving the clinical cases, by giving you by helping you practicing the scenarios, the clinical case scenarios, by providing you the MCQs with the clinical case scenarios. That will definitely help you in preparation up to that level also. So this stepwise approach is extremely important. This will definitely help you achieve a great rank. Most of the students do have this complaint of unending syllabus, and rightly so. The syllabi is like, you cannot have everything covered, and this is true for everyone, right? It's not that the toppers are able to achieve 100%, they are able to retain or read 100%. It's not like that, simply not. What is important is, there was German scientist Wilfredo Pareto. He was actually an economist who gave one principle known as 80-20 principle. You might have heard of this 80-20 principle. What he told was that 20% of the people, actually it was on peas. His experiment first was on peas, that 80% of the produce of peas were given by 20% of the pods. Okay? He extrapolated onto the businesses also, that 80% of the economy is being driven by 20% of the businesses. Likewise, you can extrapolate it to your day-to-day activities also. Nearly 70 to 80% of the days, you wear those same 20-30% of your clothes, right? Likewise, 80% of the time, 70-80% of the times, you wear the same footwear, the same 20-30% of the footwear you have, especially girls, right? So this is one thing which is kind of a universal law. Likewise, in your PG entrance exams also, what is important is that it is not 100% syllabus which you need to cover to have 100% marks. One thing is you just cannot have 100% marks. If I am being given a paper of physiology and with experience of more than 10 years, I'll not be able to have 100% of it, right? So what should be your target? Your target should be to achieve maximum. And for that maximum also, you need not cover 100%. So nearly 20 or 30 or 40% of, or less than 50%, I would say, of the syllabus is needed for you to achieve maximum, that is 70-80% of this of the marks, fetch you so much marks. So you need to identify those 30-40% those 30-40% topics, or even less than that, topics which will give you maximum marks. And these topics you'll be able to understand once you go through your lectures, or once you go through your past MCQs, because past MCQs are not repeated as such. However, the topics of the past MCQs are repeated. So those topics, identifying those topics are very important. Few other bony points I would just like to share it with you. One is you should have an action done within not more than 10 seconds. So for example, if you have some thought coming to you that I want to study right now, please don't wait. Within 10 seconds, that thought will be gone. So you need to actually act immediately. So you should have that, especially these thoughts of studying should be materialized as early as possible. Second important thing is planning. If you're not planning, you're planning to fail, basically. This is an old saying. You know this, right? So what is important is you should plan. You should plan that first is, what is your target? How much rank do you need for your particular target? Second is, you should break that plan into smaller things. For example, you should have a weekly plan, you should have a monthly plan, and in fact, you should have a daily plan also. And most important take home message here is that daily plan, which I am referring to, you should plan the next day in the evening or the night of the preceding one. Okay. So at night, you should have the plan of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 topics that you will be covering in your next day. This is very, very vital, because if you don't plan in such a way, if you don't plan for the next subsequent day, in the morning time, your brain will go haywire. It will give you n number of other things to do. You will end up wasting at least 2-3 hours in the morning. So if you have plan prepared already for the next day, the preceding night, the very morning, the next morning you wake up, you will have that plan implemented. Please take it from me. Please take this in writing, and this is extremely important. Have a study buddy, have friends with you who are in the same boat, or they can also be your juniors, they can also be your peers. But better would be if they are in the same boat, if they are also preparing. Please discuss these topics with them. Please discuss, because once you teach, the best method of retaining is teaching. If you hear something, you'll not be able to retain more than 10-15%. If you have audio visual, both the audio and the visual thing, you'll not be able to have retention of more than 30-40%. However, if once you imbibe the things, once you read the things and then you teach, your retaining capacity increases to more than 90%. So this is extremely important. So have those study buddies, just discuss with them whatever you have read. This will help in your revision also. This will help in retaining most of the things also. With these points, I really look forward to have a very good interaction with you. I will have a good time reading physiology, and wishing you the very, very best for that one seat which you actually need, which you actually wish for. And I'm sure you will get that. Thank you.